Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and today we are checking out everything surrounding Persona 4. So, with these reaction videos, I normally am checking out things that I've never seen before. I will tell you right now, I have seen and I have played Persona 4 Golden all the way through. But it is being brought onto other platforms. Initially, it was available only on PlayStation 2, and then Atlas randomly was like, hey, what if we put Persona 4 Golden on Steam? And everyone was like, yes, yes, what if you finally listen to us and put Persona on something new? And they were like, what? It's not that big a deal, guys. No one's going to buy these old-ass games. And then Persona 4 Golden sold like 500,000 copies in a month, and Sega and Atlas went, hold up, what? And they're like, yeah, bro, we want to play your old games, and not everyone has a PlayStation 2, and especially can't get a copy of these things because they're like $150, because guess what? Everyone wants to frickin' play them. And they were like, you're telling me we can make money from selling old games? And everyone's like, yes! Yes! What do you think Square Enix has been doing for literally ever? They have re-released the old Final Fantasy games in 8 different formats on 9 different platforms, and they're like, we're going to keep doing it too because you guys keep buying them, and we're like, yeah, we'll keep buying them. Persona 4 Golden made just completely blew them away entirely. They couldn't believe how many sales they got. It became the #1 selling JRPG on Steam in like 3 months. It blew everything out of the water. It sold more copies of Persona 4 Golden on Steam than the next like 9 top ranked JRPGs combined. Everyone was like, Persona, we want to play it. I never played Persona before playing Persona 4 Golden. I didn't have a PlayStation 2, so I missed Persona 3, I missed Persona 4, and when they released it on Steam, I was like, oh, that's cheap, because it was like $20, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure, let's play it. So we played it on stream, and I absolutely loved it. We put like 114 hours into it, and I would not have been sad for a moment if that just kept going. There have been some really long games that we have played, and at the end of them I was like, oh my sweet Jesus, thank God it is over. And that is not the way that I have felt about Persona 4 Golden in the slightest. I would have been just perfectly content and happy if it would have just kept going. We're playing Persona 5 Royal on stream right now. And speaking of impressive pours, Persona 5 Royal sold like an additional 1 million copies after they put it on all platforms late last year. So I'm imagining that they're just like, wow, we should just do this more. And everyone's like, yes, do it more. That said, I did not check out much of the marketing for Persona 4 before just deciding to play it. But I will recognize a lot of the characters, a lot of the themes and stuff in this, so it's not a completely blind reaction. But we're going to go on this journey all the same, because if you've seen any of my reactions before, we don't just grab whatever's the newest trailer, we grab all of them. So we're going to go way back to the past, to July 2nd of 2008, 14 years ago, coming up on 15 years ago, to this wonderful 480p video, to the initial announcement trailer for the original Persona 4. Let's go. These are just TV channels. That was Persona 3. Okay, hold on. Real quick question. I don't remember time well enough anymore. Had the Apple commercials started yet? Do you remember the Apple commercials where everyone was just like a black silhouette, but they had the headphones that they were dancing with? When did those commercials start? Because I want to know if Apple copied Persona, or if Persona copied Apple, or if it's just a happy coincidence. Boobs! 2007? Okay, so like right around the same time. Because this is a 2008 trailer. Petty. Ah, in the old times when games weren't released all at the same time across the when global releases weren't a thing, when you had to wait for something to come to you, when you're like, man, there's this really cool game out in Japan, I really hope we get it. Apple was first. Okay, so that was just the actual initial announcement trailer. We're gonna go to the first official trailer for it. We have now moved up to October from July of 2008. Still rocking that lovely 480p, though. What the hell? There we go. Play? There we go. Man, look. Persona games are always rated M, right? But good lord, alcohol reference, animated blood, language, partial nudity, sexual themes, violence. We got that rated M tag, and baby, we're gonna use it! Atlas ain't afraid.
Going to the gym. Good thing there's something even I can handle.
Tonight, Princess Yukiko has a big surprise.
The scandal involves the Enkastar Misuzu Hira.
They put a lot more game. They put a lot more gameplay into these Persona 4 trailers than they did the Persona 3 trailers. Oh. Fun. Very fun. That was a really fun, like, abrupt cut. I like the way they did that. So if you missed it yesterday, we checked out all the trailers for Persona 3, since Persona 3 Portable is also coming to all platforms. But yeah, there's a lot more gameplay in these than they put in the Persona 3 trailers. Like, a lot more. Okay, so this is the Persona 4 Golden. So Persona games, they always get, like, a director's cut, essentially. They get the base game, and then they get the upgraded game, kind of like the definitive edition. But it's not just, like, a complete edition where it's like, oh, it got the DLC in it and stuff like that. They update mechanics. They add more voices, more characters, more worlds, dungeons. It is definitely like we put out the game and then we kept working on it because there was more that we wanted to do. And so we built all of this extra stuff, and then we're going to re-release a updated version of the game that just has a lot more in it. This can be everything from entire side missions that lead you on a full storylines and paths and dungeons, entire characters, entire confidants, if you know what that means within the concept of Persona. There's a lot that goes into these director's cut versions, and they're really, really good. And so that's the version we're getting is Persona 4 Golden. So it was about 4 years later, June 4th at E3 of 2012, that they showed off the trailer for Persona 4 Golden. So let's see. Let's proceed forward. It was on the Vita? Oh, man. Marie! That was cool. That was super cool. It's always neat to see, especially these games that have a really storied history, seeing the progression of the trailers and stuff. So cool. All right, so that was just the actual E3 trailer. It was a little while later in October of 2012, so that probably would have been around like maybe around like Tokyo Game Show-ish. I don't know if Tokyo Game Show is actually that old. Maybe like Gamescom. Maybe Gamescom is old enough to be around in 2012. I don't actually know. That we got another official trailer for Persona 4 Golden. Man, I had no idea that it released on the frickin' Vita. Poor Vita. The PlayStation Vita deserved better. Maybe that's why they decided to bring Persona 4 Golden first, because it just sold terribly on the Vita. Because the Vita sold terribly. Yeah, I loved the ever-living hell out of this game. It was so good. Wait, was there a Persona 4 Golden Vita? Hang on, I have to look real quick. Was that a thing? Was there a actual Vita console? Like a special version of it? No, not shopping. I mean, I don't want to see how much it would cost if there was a specific... There was one! Oh, it was just like a wrap, though. If you pre-order it, you got the wrap. Okay, so it wasn't actual Persona 4 specific Vita. It was just a wrap. It's kind of like a D-brand skin almost today. Okay. I was about to be like, man, I'm real sorry that it was on the Vita then, because that probably sold terribly. All right, here's the critics trailer. This also tells me how hard they were trying to get people to buy Vitas and buy Persona 4 Golden for the Vita, because we've checked out trailers now for Persona 5 Royal, Persona 3 Portable, and just a whole lot else. There's very specific titles that get accolades trailers, so. Man, you got a 9.3 from IGN? That's when you know you did good.
Without a true artist, so let's get together, see what we can uncover.
All of those scores and accreditations completely worthy. All right, so now we get to jump to the future, significantly forward in time, because we're going to go from 2012 to 2020. This was the surprise launch of the game on Steam. Freaking shadow dropped this out of nowhere.
じゃあここは特別捜査本部
Marie's storyline was really cool. So cool. So cool. All right, now let's see what they have to say about how are they advertising this to us today. So this is the announced trailer when it was initially going to be shown for modern platforms. It's going to be available on Game Pass if you're a Game Pass subscriber. It's also available on everything else. All the PlayStations, the Xbox consoles, Nintendo Switch, Steam. Well, it's already on Steam, but I think one of the most defining differences in the trailers, like, and I already mentioned this, between Persona 3 and 4 has definitely been just how much gameplay they've shown of Persona 4 versus what they showed in Persona 3.
I'm also reading a case in a town called Inaba where a serial killer is on the loose. It seems as if a group of Persona users at Yasogami High are taking it upon themselves to investigate the murders. I even hear they can access another world through their TVs.
It's true!
I'm also hearing about a rainy day urban legend. At midnight, they say if you stare into your TV long enough, your soulmate will appear. I'm sure if I looked long enough, I would see Lady On.
Thanks, Morgana.
Of course, I won't say too much, but something tells me the Phantom Thieves can learn a thing or two from these powerful Persona users. You can check out these cases in Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden, coming January 19th, 2023.
And I hope that every single other video game developer that has a history with like well-received, popular credited games, presuming that they're not in like rights hell or something, learns to do the same thing. If you got beloved games that are still locked away on old titles, please bring them to modern consoles. Bandai Namco, Monolith Soft, and Nintendo, I'm looking at you. Xenosaga, please. Anyway, different game series. Anyway, so that's Persona 4 Golden. It was really neat. That was really fun. And like Athena said, that was really nostalgic. Although it's interesting to be like nostalgic for something that I played like, I don't know, 18 months ago. It wasn't even that long ago that I played Persona 4 Golden, but I was like, I feel like I'm back at home because it really was just such an incredible experience. These games, while they are extremely mature, I will say, they have very, very mature themes, tones, and moments in them. You're like, man, that was heavy. That was really, really heavy. They're really incredible experiences. You feel so connected to these characters. The writing is really good, especially for what you normally get out of JRPGs, because a lot of times, like, there's some really standout examples from the Final Fantasy series where you're just making shit up and this dialogue barely even makes sense. Persona games, they feel a lot more grounded, a lot more natural feeling conversations between characters. And I definitely, part of the game is getting to know the characters. So quite literally, you build up your connections and your relationships with your confidants, the people that you have the tarot cards with, and you're trying to rank up and see their individual stories. And it makes you so connected to all of these characters in a way that just like going on a grand adventure in a game like Final Fantasy doesn't ever really get you connected to them. Not in the same way, because you get to see so many more casual moments in Persona than you do in something like Dragon Quest, where it's just the characters going to get food and stuff like that, right? And it just gives you a bit of insight into more of who they are when they're not fighting for their lives or trying to stop a bad guy or anything like that, right? And so you get such a connection to them and you feel so grounded next to them. So it definitely felt like I was just seeing a bunch of old friends, which is cool. It's really cool. So last 3 years were at least a decade. Fair. COVID time is an entirely different debacle. So that's Persona 4 Golden. It's available on everything now, once relegated only to the PlayStation 2 and then the Vita before a surprise launch in 2020 on Steam, which thankfully showed Atlas and Sega that they need to put some shit on PC and other platforms when and where they can, and they have begun to do that. We saw the remake of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne coming out on, I think it was just on Switch. Maybe it's on PC. I would need to double check. I'm not going to do that right now, but hopefully we see a lot more of this in just every way. I highly recommend Persona 4 Golden. It's a really good time. It's got incredible characters, a great story, and it's really, really fun, especially if you like turn-based JRPGs. But finally, they are all available to us, and who knows, maybe one day we'll see Persona 1 and 2, although those are much older games that might have a lot more work involved with actually bringing them to modern consoles. But hey, you never know. It could happen. Hopefully it does, because I would love to see all video games, regardless of how old or how bad they are, be available on all modern platforms, because I like bad games sometimes, man. Sometimes bad games can still be fun. Even if they are objectively bad, they can be subjectively enjoyable. So that's Persona 4 Golden. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you if you want to just talk about the game. I have played this one, so I'm more than welcome to just share thoughts and opinions and stuff. I was trying to keep a lot of stuff of like personal, detailed descriptions about stuff, because there might be people that are getting ready to go into this game for the very first time, and I don't want to ruin anything for them. We're talking about it making it seem worth the investment with how the world is taking in the remakes. Hey, it is the age of selling people nostalgia, and thankfully nostalgia sells well, and so I hope that they continue doing this. There's a lot of games, like I mentioned, Xenosaga, I would love to see available on modern platforms. Baton Kaitos, both it and its sequel from the GameCube, I would like to see. I would also like to see, like, Skies of Arcadia. There's a whole bunch of old Squaresoft titles that Square Enix should and could still bring to modern platforms. They just brought forward Valkyrie Profile, so that's really cool of them. Hopefully we just continue to see more of this to the point that we do have, relatively speaking, a legacy of video games that are available not just on current platforms, but that'll be accessible on all platforms to come. But if you want to keep up with the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. I would love to talk with you about this, that, or anything else. And speaking of Discord, we have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can check out together live on stream, because we do stream on Twitch, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you do watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.